bigcal, and welcome to my world. As we come towards the end of my Buffyverse Month over on bigcalsworld.co.uk, it's time to look at one of the video games set within the Buffyverse. Sadly, there were no games based on Angel, however, there were a few on Buffy. The first game released was on the Game Boy Color, but I'm not here to talk about that. I want to talk about the first console release, an original Xbox exclusive, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Developed by The Collective Inc., published by Fox Interactive and distributed by EA, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was finally released in 2002 after starting out as a PlayStation game, then a Dreamcast game and even a PC game before settling on the Xbox. Wikipedia calls it a horror beat-em-up game, but I don't think that's quite accurate. Maybe action platformer? Or better yet, a combination of all four in action platforming beat-em-up horror game. Yeah, that ought to do it. The game's story is based on a book set in the Buffyverse. However, I couldn't find the actual name of the book, only that it was written by Christopher Golden and Thomas Nygonsky, if that's pronouncing his name correctly. Basically, an evil ancient being known as Lieback plans to build a bridge between his dimension and the Earth. However, in order to do so, he needs the expertise of the Master, who was the big bad in Season 1 of the show. Unfortunately, the Master is currently dead, so they need to resurrect his spirit in order to gain his expertise. In order to do this, they need help from, well, someone who's currently alive, or living dead, shall we say. He enlists Spike to help him out, and basically blackmails him by holding Drusilla hostage, or at least holding her mind hostage. Not that there's much there to begin with, but he does threaten to essentially break her mind unless Spike does as he is told. He brings back the Order of Aurelius, who are the vampires that worship the Master, and along with the help of a mystic being, I can't quite remember his name, and 3 beings called the Dreamers, and a couple of vampires who, one of which can turn into a snake, I think it was. Kind of complicated. They're basically looking to resurrect the Master, use his expertise along with the Dreamers to build this bridge to take over the world. Like I said, it's something you would expect to see from the Buffy show, and that's great for a Buffy game. The gameplay has you exploring multiple locations from the show and some that I don't think have been in the show, but are locations you could certainly see in the show. From the Sunnydale High School, Sunken Church where the Master was stuck for in most of Season 1, Sunnydale Cemetery, and more. Sometimes you visit locations multiple times, but each visit takes you on a different path, so you never feel like you're playing the same level twice. The levels are all fairly large, with some hidden areas to discover secret items, the occasional human to save, and of course plenty of vampires to dust, along with some weird and creepy alien-style demons. The levels are all very well designed and fitting perfectly with the look and feel of the show, though there were a few points in the game where I needed to turn up the brightness to see where I was going. The controls are pretty basic. Move around with the left analog stick, move the camera with the right one, and bash the hell out of A and X to beat down your opponents, with the Y button mainly being used to stake vampires or behead demons depending on the weapon you have. Throughout the game, you'll unlock some combo moves from Giles, but personally I never really found them useful. Button mashing honestly was always effective for me. There is a block or a dodge button of some sorts, but again I never found it useful. You still get hit most of the time, take damage, so what's the point? I made an effort to just keep hitting the buttons to ensure that I never gave them a chance to hit me, and it worked out well for the most part. Oftentimes you'll find yourself against 2 or more enemies and the controls are great at handling this. You can be kicking the hell out of a vampire in front of you, then tap the other direction on the analog stick and it'll instantly target one of the vampires behind you without needing to stop, turn around and begin button mashing again. While the combat system isn't on the level of, say, Bayonetta, for a game in 2002 on the original Xbox, it's still very fun, satisfying and good. You know, come to think of it, a modern day Buffy game made by Platinum Games would be absolutely fantastic. The controls start to go a little iffy when it comes to switching weapons and jumping. Like combos, you'll gain new weapons throughout the game, only from Xander. You have your standard stake, crossbow, which can be combined with items to create fire and blessed arrows for more damage. The water gun XVS, which holds holy water and hellfire, mainly used to unlock doors. And the Reaper, an awesome two-sided bladed weapon that can behead vampires and cause extra melee damage in general. Switching between these is where the controls isn't as great as it could be. You use the directional pad to cycle through them, but then you must press up to actually select the weapon, rather than simply cycling through and then whichever one you hovered over switches to. This whole process is very slow and clunky, and has to be done in real time during battles, which can result in you taking a beating and even dying if you aren't careful. For the most part, once I unlocked the Reaper, I only changed weapons when it was absolutely necessary. As for jumping, oh boy. The game for the most part has you running around and doing some climbing, which is automatic when you move into a climbable wall. Jumping early on is mostly small gaps and you have no problems. Then, further into the game, they start throwing in more actual platforming, and I died a ton on these sections. The jumping is floaty as hell, and it never really feels like you're under control, often over-jumping completely and falling to your death, or not jumping enough and falling to your death. Doesn't help that Buffy instantly dies when she enters water. She has super strength and reflexes, and can save the world numerous times, but apparently can't swim. Gotta love video game logic. Visually, for a game in 2002, I think it looks great and still holds up to this day. Locations look like what you'd expect. They all have a dark and creepy feel to them that adds to the overall atmosphere. Character designs are where this game falls a little for me though, with some looking quite good and others looking very odd. For the sound, the game is a mixed bag. The music in the game, while not really something from the show, still sounds great and is perfect at creating a horror vibe while you play. The voice acting though is mostly pretty bad. Which is weird because almost the entire cast are here to voice their actual characters from the show. All of them except for the Master, which, yeah, I'm okay with. And who else was it that doesn't voice? Oh yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar does not voice Buffy. The star of the show and the star of the game does not have the voice actor. Now, at first I thought maybe, she thought she was too big a star at the time, didn't want to, lower herself to a video game, as sadly some actors just feel like that. But then I also thought maybe she was just too busy at the time. She was a huge star again from Buffy. Maybe she had some films she was doing at the time and couldn't physically be there. Turns out they offered her the role to voice Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the game. She asked to see the script. They refused. So she backed out. I don't know whose decision this was, but when you're designing a game and you've got the story written out and you want to hire, voice actors, especially with a licensed game, and you want the actual person from the show or the film to do the voice, if they ask to see the script, show them the fucking script! Seriously, why would they refuse? It baffles me. So instead, we are Sarah Michelle Gellarless for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. Giselle Lauren, I believe it's pronounced, is the person who voices Buffy for the game. She was originally going to voice Buffy in an animated show, which I believe had a pilot but was never picked up. At first it was really odd hearing her voice Buffy, but eventually I just kind of got used to it. I suppose it does help that the writing and the lines that come out of Buffy pretty much what you'd expect to hear from her on the show, so it definitely helped you get used to her voice being there.
Actually,
however,
was quite helpful.
Despite almost everyone actually voicing their characters, something just doesn't sound right. At first, I actually thought that nobody voiced their characters until I looked it up. Maybe it's just a case of them not being used to doing voiceovers, maybe there's some audio editing done somewhere, who knows. Thankfully, most of the game just has Buffy making one-liners, so aside from the cutscenes, there's not really room for anybody else to talk. And that's pretty much it for Buffy the Vampire Slayer on the original Xbox. A couple of other things. Stakes, for example, break after a while. They have a little health bar of their own, so you have to try and find more. Sometimes you'll find them on the floor, sometimes a human that you save will give you one, and other times you can smash crates and the wood will reveal the stake. There are also potions in the game to help you with your health, and then there's some sort of magic, which I think is used for the combos, but again, I never really bothered with them because they seemed pointless. But the potions, very helpful, though you can only carry a certain amount, which is a bit of a pain sometimes. Again, these can just be found randomly on the floor. If you smash open a crate, there might be one in, or one of the humans you save will hand over one. There are also secret items. You can get crystals, which when you meet with the Scooby Gang in between levels at the library, you can hand them over to Willow and she will convert them into more health or more magic. More health is definitely the one you want to find the most. There are also boss battles. And honestly, for the most part, they're just like normal vampires or demons that you fight, aside from the fact that they have a larger health bar. And then you have a couple where you've sort of just got to avoid them for a while, and then like an energy shield will go down and you beat the shit out of them for a few seconds. Shield goes up and you avoid them again. They're not great, but they're also not the worst that I've played. Yeah, they definitely could have done much more with it here, but it is what it is. It was the first Buffy game, and I suppose I can't really see what else they would have done in this style of game where you're just beating the crap out of things other than give them larger health bars. The story plays out really well. I very much enjoyed it. Like I said, it feels like something that would be on the show. It definitely gives you that feeling. There are a few twists and turns along the way. I won't spoil anything, but I'm pretty sure that at the end everyone knows Buffy saves the world. Duh. I really like the Scooby Gang meetings in the library that happens after most levels. You can just go around and talk to Xander, Willow, Cordelia, Giles, sometimes even Spike or Angel, depending on if they're there, depending on what's happening in the story. They all have a couple of lines of dialogue each. Definitely sounds like something they would say on the show, even if the audio, the voice acting is not quite there. But I enjoy it, and then of course, as I mentioned, you can talk to Giles. Every so often he'll give you a new combo, and Xander every so often will give you a new weapon. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It plays really well. The controls, aside from, like I said, the jumping and the weapon switching, is all really good, really perfect. For 2002, the system is fantastic. If you were to play, say, one of the earlier Devil May Cry games that were released probably around the same time, you got that style of beat-em-up gameplay, but it's not quite as fast and as smooth as it could be, but it's still really fun to play. The atmosphere is great. You definitely got that horror, creepy vibe that you would expect. The music adds to the atmosphere really, really well. The graphics look good, aside from some of the character models, as I mentioned. So overall, it is a very good game based on a TV show, based on a license, and those, aren't as easy to come by. But this one definitely is really good, holds up extremely well, and that's why I give it, on my scale, out of 100, 87. Excellent game, definitely pick it up if you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan of Buffy, or even if you're just a fan of these style of beat-em-up games. Well worth the money. The Xbox version, that obviously is exclusive, is still really cheap, so what's to stop you? So, I'm Big Cal, thanks for watching. I hope you check out the rest of my Buffyverse Month content over on bigcalsworld.co.uk. There are currently 4 top 10 lists as written content on there. And stay tuned, before the end of the month I will be reviewing the sequel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. No longer an Xbox exclusive, but I will be reviewing the PlayStation 2 version called Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.